let's look at some techniques. We're going to look at our basic system, 3-step system in order to start building your team. So, let's look at the war market system. Contacting and inviting your prospects to the business, in-home, or the internet presentations. Okay, so before you pick up the phone, you're going to need to be ready to know what to say. So you need to do an affirmation. This is really simple. There's an affirmation right here on page 37. I am about to call my friend and do them a favor. I have a business opportunity to share that can bring freedom and lifestyle through residual income, which can be created from a one-time effort, not the temporary income they are currently earning. I realize that I cannot make my friend see it, accept it, or do it. But if I care about this person and I know in my heart what I have can benefit them, I will invite them to see it with confidence and sincerity. Because I am thinking of them, I will not be affected if the gift I am offering is not accepted. Remember that.
Good.
Say that before you pick up the phone. No is good. Remember you heard Dennis say that earlier in the session. No is a good thing. Because no means you can take them off your list and work with the next one. The worst thing you can get is maybe. Oh, there's nothing worse than that. I've used that so many times in my text messages to people when I'm following up, and you seem like sometimes you're just following up too much, and I finally say, would you please just say no? And I will tell that to them. I will leave a message. Look, this is my 3rd time I'm calling. Would you please just say no so I can stop following up with you? That takeaway is really powerful. I've had that happen to me a few times. What do you mean you're saying no to me? You can't say no to me. You can't take this away from me. Let me make the decision. I just asked. I'm not asking for a yes. I'm just asking for a yes or a no. So if you say this before you pick up the phone, you're not going to worry about rejection. No is a good thing. Dennis said that earlier. Pretty soon you'll realize no is worth the same as a yes. It's the same thing. Your business moves forward. A no is as good as a yes. Crazy, isn't it, Dennis? A no is as good as a yes. Yes. And you know what's even better? When you say no first. That's a lot more fun, isn't it? When you tell your friend no first. When you realize that that is the answer coming. It is so much nicer to say, you know what? I think I've just realized this business really isn't for you. I thank you for your time. And you know what? Let's just stay friends. Because this business, it's not worth our friendship. It's not something you're looking for. So I think I'm just going to say no for you. Thanks very much. Let's go have a coffee. We'll talk to you soon. I'm really busy right now. But you know, when my business slows down and gives me the lifestyle that I'm looking for and I've got more time, we'll have a lot more time to sit back and chat. But at least you shared it with them. Having scripts. You know, this is a business. You've heard Dennis say that. It is a business, and you need to learn your business. I used to be a professional magician. I also used to be a professional clown at that tiny little fast food chain, McDonald's. I had to learn scripts. Maria, you do acting. You have to learn scripts. Do you not? You have to sit there. You have to memorize a script. You have to learn a script. You know, I had to do the same thing with McDonald's. Unfortunately, even 20 years later, some of these songs and scripts are still in my head. I can still do them all just like that. Well, look at the linking rings trick that I did yesterday. That is something that I learned, that magic trick, 25, 30 years ago. Yeah, over 30. Oh, geez, over 30 years. Oh, wow. But I can still do it today as if I did it yesterday. It's like riding a bicycle, you don't forget. Learn the scripts. I've got a whole bunch of scripts in this booklet for you. Memorize them, learn them. They don't have to be verbatim, but you need to know the essence behind them so that you've got an idea of what to say. Be prepared. So contacting, inviting your prospects. And I learned this from Greg Stewart. Every time he made a phone call, he always started off the call, "Hi, it's Craig Stewart calling. Am I calling you at a good time?" It was always the start of the conversation before he went to anything else. Not, hi, how are you? How's the weather, this and that. He didn't start into his pitch, horrible word pitch. He didn't start talking about it. He's first of all wanted to know, am I calling you at a good time? You'll notice whenever I call many of you, my very first sentence is still, oh, hi Linda, it's Craig, am I calling you at a good time? Yeah, great, I just wanted to go over something. Because how often is it the wrong time? You're in the middle of doing something, you still answered the phone anyways, but you're not listening. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody just said, I'd rather you called me back? I talked to somebody, and it happens quite often. You know what, Craig, could you call me back in an hour? That would be a lot more convenient. Well, that's great. Can you call me back tomorrow? It's not a good time. The kids are crying. I'm trying to get them some dinner. I've got to deal with this. I've got all these things going on, and it's not a good time. And yet you just want to barge in and start going over, and they're not listening. So be courteous. Ask them if it's a good time. Did I catch you at a good time? Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Create urgency. You need to be enthusiastic, but you need to have controlled enthusiasm. But we create urgency when you're talking to the people. Okay? So you've made your affirmation, you asked it's a good time, and look, have you got 60 seconds? I just got to ask you a couple of quick questions. Let them know, I'm not going to be here long. I only need you for, don't say, do you have a minute? Because a minute doesn't mean a minute. Look, if you got 60 seconds, I just want to double check your email address and get some current information. I've got some information that is time sensitive. I want you to look at what I'm doing, and I want to get you to a website. I want to email you something. Is that okay? If you ask me, do you have a minute? Nobody believes when somebody says, do you have a minute, that you really mean a minute. Do they? It's just like when somebody says, I'll try. Do you have a minute means, have you got 5 or 10 minutes? Do you have 60 seconds? Big difference when we're doing the surveys between asking, do you have a minute to answer a few questions, or do you have 60 seconds to answer a few questions? Big, big difference. 60 seconds, you're being sincere. And make sure you don't take more than 60 seconds. This allows you to get off the phone quickly. You have a lot of calls to make if you're doing this. So if you go and spend, and make a mistake, and I've done it, I've made the mistake, I've called somebody, and I've spent a half an hour, 45 minutes on the phone with them, and thinking, wow, I've got somebody that's really excited. They keep on asking more questions. I keep on giving it to them. And I hang up the phone. Wow, that was an hour. Man, I've got a great distributor there, and they don't join because I don't want to spend an hour on the phone explaining this to somebody. Wish there was an easy way to do this business, but if I've got to be able to do what you just did, Craig, it's not going to work. I'm going to do that. When I say, look, can I just send you some information, let me verify your email address, I'm going to send you something, I want you to look at it. And can you look at it right away? Like within the next 24 to 48 hours, I want you to look at it. I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow with a friend of mine. Answer any questions. Once again, it's creating that urgency. Look at it right away, knowing that you're going to call them. When I give them the website, I create even more urgency. I give them the prospecting site, the 258788.com, and I say to them, look at it right away. I will know immediately that you have gone through the website, because as soon as you go to the final page, I am instantly notified on my app. I've got an app that connects to the prospecting system. It's a free app that you connect to your phone. And it notifies me by in-app notification. I don't have to wait for emails. That somebody has gone through my prospecting system. And then I click on it, I know exactly who it is. So I can tell them the second you go through the whole system and get to the final page, I know. If I don't get that email, I know you didn't go through it, and I know you're not interested, and I won't bother you. I don't want to work with somebody that doesn't take it seriously. So having the system to be able to do that, that's the advantage of having the hour-a-day prospecting system over the Cassandra site. You don't know when somebody goes to cassandra.com/your username. You have no idea. There's a little number that adds to 1 every time somebody goes in your back office. You can see your website statistics and how many people have gone to your homepage. But you don't know who they are. The advantage of the hour-a-day system, you instantly know who they are. And there's some questions on the 3rd page. They answer what their level of interest is. And all those answers are available for you as soon as you log in. You can see if they're interested in building a business or not, or if they just want to be a customer, or if they're saying, no, please don't call me, Craig, I'm not interested. Please put a little note in there. I'm not interested. That's okay. So that's really important, creating the urgency. And this one here, don't spend 10 minutes answering a question when you could answer it in 3 words. I don't know. How often does somebody spin around the truth and all this and go all the way and sideways and back and forth, and you know they don't know the answer and they're fishing for it? It is so much better to say, you know, that's a great question. I don't have the answer, but I can get the answer for you, and I can get it right away. Which is the other reason it's really good when you're doing your follow-up calls to have your upline on the phone. And sometimes your upline won't know the answer. Sometimes I won't even know the answer when you have me on the phone, and I'll just say, you know, I'd rather just tell you I don't know than make up something. Wouldn't you rather have the right answer? I can phone Craig, I can phone Peter, I can phone Gene, I can phone Robert. Yesterday at one of the presentations, somebody had a bunch of questions about how she, of her different illnesses that she had. I said, you know what, send me an email with what your situation is. I'll forward it to Robert. He's the guy that made GSF. I'll tell you what his opinion of our product will do with your current situation. Would that be fair? And then we'll go from there. Well, that makes a lot more sense to be saying, oh yes, it solves everything and cures cancer. Which is once again where integrity comes up.
By the way, Rena was very impressed with everyone here, including the way you handled things, and that no one pushed.
Why push somebody? There was somebody that had been pushed and pushed and pushed by other MLM companies. Once again, why don't people like MLM? Because of distributors. Pushing. You need to find out what is best for them. Ask them. And her biggest concern was her health and her energy. Let's solve your problem. If our product can help you, then we'll take it to the next step. It's not the speed of your decision, it's the accuracy of it. Let's give you the information you need to make that decision. Don't try to explain it over the phone. Don't do what I've done, and many of us have done this. We spent, you feel exhausted after spending a half an hour of handling objections. Don't. Try to get them to come out and see it properly. Invite them in a caring manner. Remember, this is what's best for them. That's not what is best for you. And if you don't know, just say so. So, we're trying to sell the appointment, not the program. All you're trying to do is get somebody to meet with you either at a business presentation like we had last night, at a wine and wrinkles or a spa party, at a 2-on-1 coffee presentation. You're trying to set the appointment, not try to sell everything over the phone. I had somebody explain to me when they said, or I said it to them, can you tell me over the phone? I said, have you ever been in love? They said yes. I said, well, can you imagine trying to explain what it's like to be in love with somebody that's never been in love? You need to be in love before you understand it. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like explaining what a sunset looks like to a person that has never seen. It'd be really hard to explain this over the phone. Wouldn't you want me to rather show it to you, and I can do that, or go to the website that'll take 5 minutes to go through the website, or I could try to spend an hour explaining what I can do in 5 minutes over the internet. What would you rather, the hour right now, or do you want the 5 minutes on the internet? Everybody goes for the 5 minutes. Nobody says, oh yeah, I really want to spend an hour hearing what I can learn in 5 minutes. When you get on the phone, establish some rapport. Maybe you haven't talked to this person for 5 years, 10 years, even 5 weeks, and you're trying to reestablish rapport. As Dennis was saying earlier, the last thing you want to do is phone up a friend that you went to school with 20 years ago. Hey, it's Craig. You want to join an MLM? I know we haven't talked in 20 years, but we're really good friends. Establish some rapport. And remember, it's not about selling the business. Be caring. You've got it. They don't. You want to share it with them. This is the key. 1 to 2 minutes on the phone maximum when you're inviting somebody out. The longer you talk on the phone, the less likely they will show up to the presentation that you're inviting them to. Remember that. The longer you talk on the phone, the odds decrease with every extra minute that you're on the phone. Because now they think they've heard everything, they don't need to come out. You had a question?
What do you think about leaving a quick message? Like, should you not say anything, or just, like you said?
Leaving a voicemail?
Yeah.
I never leave voicemails. I never listen to voicemails. In today's society, I see that you've called on my phone. If I want to call you back, I'm going to call you back. The last thing I want to do is listen to you ramble on for 30 seconds or a minute to what you're going to tell me when I phone you. I personally don't leave voicemail.
What about texting now?
Oh, texting, I love texting. Texting is how I do all my follow-ups. Texting is so much better, and I guess, hey, Brent, how much time do you spend on the phone? You're 19. How much time do you actually spend talking on the phone? Yeah, just to your girlfriend. But anybody else, if somebody phones, if I actually get a phone call from my son, something's wrong. Okay? I mean, something's wrong. We're in a culture right now where texting is simple. It's not invasive. I can look at a text and I can follow up, and I get better results following up by text and just saying, if you've got a couple of minutes, I've got something I'd like to share with you. And you see it, it's not invasive, they're not talking to them, you're not taking them away, they can look, and when it's right, they'll text back. I get texts back so much faster than I get phone calls back. And go back and forth. I get more text messages, OMG, Cassandra is amazing, I've got my bliss on. I get more text messages than I get phone calls or emails. See, emails, the response time is usually within about 3 or 4 hours is the average response time to an email. A text message is 60 to 90 seconds is the average response time. People say, well, I sent a whole bunch of emails. So what? Text them, follow up. Your job as a sponsor is to be in constant communication with your team. That means by email, by phone, and yes, by text message. Text messaging is really, I feel, one of the best ways to communicate. Say when you're booking an appointment, don't do it any more than 2 or 3 days in advance, because people forget about it, it goes too far. Even with all the technology that we have in the world today, and being able to have reminders on our phone, people just typically don't use them. I put all my appointments in here, and I set a reminder for 2 hours before my appointment, and then usually an hour before my appointment, so that I don't forget. I do the same thing with phone calls. Everything goes into my smartphone because it just beeps up and tells you to do it. I used to do that on my inbox at Outlook and use all the Outlook calendar, but I'm never on my computer enough. Everybody is on their phones. Use your phones and set your reminders on your phones. You always want them to have more, wanting more information, so less is more. And never mention, if you're doing a presentation, that it's weekly. As soon as you say it's weekly, well, we do a presentation every Thursday. Okay, I don't need to come this week. No problem. I'll just come next week. I'll come next week. Now, fortunately, right now in this area, we're not doing weekly presentations. We usually have an event every 6 weeks or so, and you build to that event. And now many people are starting to do the spa parties and the wine and wrinkles parties. So you use the small one-on-one, two-on-one presentations to build the foundation of your business and lead to a big event. Controlled enthusiasm. This one, I'm always told that I don't need any more coffee. Because I do get a little animated, I do get a little excited. I am a little loud, I've been told, every once in a while. You want to have enthusiastic, but it wants to be controlled. You can imagine, hi, this is Craig. Did I call you at a good time? Oh, that's good. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you if you wanted to make some money. No? Okay. That's not too enthusiastic. That's my mentalism, put you to sleep, hypnotic voice. But you don't want to be, hey, it's Craig, how's it going? I got this really great opportunity. Oh my goodness, you got to get there. You got to just, hi, it's Craig. Have I called you at a good time? Excellent. Look, I just wanted to get your email. I wanted to send you some really important information. I'd love to have your opinion. Have you got a pen handy? Go get a pen. And paper too, that really helps. That's great. Well, you write down this website. I'm going to email it to you anyways, but write this down. just in case it gets lost. That's controlled enthusiasm. You know what's funny? When you ask somebody to have a pen handy, they go running. They don't have a pen. If you tell them to write down something and you don't ask them if they have a pen, they pretend to write it down. Okay, look, I went right on this website. Okay, it's 258. They don't have a pen. Oh yeah, okay, I'm listening. Yeah, 258, they're going to try to remember it. You've done this before. I know you've all done this when somebody asks you to write something down. But when you ask them, do you have a pen handy? People, for some reason, will be honest with you. No, I don't. Okay, go get one. I'll wait. It's crazy. It's a silly little thing, but ask them, do they have a pen and paper? Nobody's going to write it on their hand and it gets messy. Learn to work the law of averages. Invite twice as many people as you plan on having to attend. Attract your prospects through your professionalism, through your enthusiasm, and most importantly, your caring attitude. That's what's important. Your caring attitude will always come forward. I was so excited about joining Lysandra because of the caring attitude of Peter and Jean. When I saw the sincerity of what they wanted to do with this company, where they wanted to go, and they wanted to genuinely help people, not only look better, but make money, it was that caring attitude that I knew this company would succeed. You've got to move that forward. Pay it forward, everybody. That attitude, let it go forward. So things to say and things not to say when you're opening with a telephone conversation. Okay, so we can go, and on your book here on things to say and not to say, we can grab that in, what other pages on that? Things to say. I think that's on page 38. Yep, 38. So, did I catch you at a good time? Glad I caught you. Don't say sorry to bother you. Is this a bad time to call? Don't use negatives, use positive. Am I calling you at a good time? So remember, just those simple little things can make a big difference. And there's some funny sample approaches here that are in here on page 38, 39, and 40. And I'm going to go over some of the ones that I think that are kind of fun. Let's take a look at the first one. There's the opinion approach. You guys can read that one in yourselves. Approaching a business owner, approaching a friend, a simple basic approach. One of the ones that I'm just trying to find my personal favorite on here. And just looking, sorry. Oh, this was the one here, invitation number 2, the quick question approach. This one here, the question approach on page 40. One of my favorites. I think, Dennis, you're the one that came up with this one. Dennis, this is Craig. Before I tell you why I made this call, I was just wanting to ask you 2 quick questions. Were you just getting ready to pick up the phone and call me because you had a great financial opportunity that you wanted me to share with me? And then they're going to say no. Well, if you did have such an opportunity, would you have thought of me and given me a call? And they usually say, well, sure I would. Okay, I'm just returning the favor. Simple, fine, little cheeky. But you make somebody laugh, you take them off their guard a little bit. It's a lot more fun. You find the approach that works for you. There's a bunch of different approaches. If there was a way to make money by referring people you care about to a very informative website, would that be of interest to you? If I could show you a way to look better and make money, would you be interested? Simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Now, calling parties, they're a lot of fun. Calling parties, you can do some neat things with calling parties. Sorry, let me get back here. Calling parties, get a bunch of people together. And do it as a fun team approach. We talked about having the spa parties where you're bringing out guests. Bring a bunch of distributors into the room and have a calling party. And you can even go a cool adaptation, and you'll see on page 40 at the bottom, have a LinkedIn party or a social media party, where everybody's on their LinkedIn account, you're all linking in, and you're hearing the people reply, and you're sending it all out, and you're sharing your success, and it's all happening at once. Dennis and I, in our first MLM, actually booked a calling center. We booked a call center in its off hours, And all the distributors, we all sat down on a predictive dialer, and we were dialing for dollars, all of us in a room where the system was just calling out random people. And we were asking them, do you have 60 seconds to answer a few questions? And it was fun because when somebody got one, they jump up and then you see, oh, he got one, I gotta keep on going. And if you do it in a calling party or you do it in a LinkedIn social media party, oh, I just linked into this person. Now everybody can link in and everybody can see the success. And then they get a positive response back and you go, you know what? There is success out there. I can do this. And then somebody gets a reply and they go, I don't know how to answer this question. Then you got 3 other people to bounce that off of to say, here's how I would answer that question. Let's give them a call. And then the other people will go, well, that sounds exciting. And you can say, look, I'm gonna introduce you to a few other of my friends. They're gonna ask you to link in. And now you're creating that excitement. So you don't have to be doing this on your own. You're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. Now, that's the warm market. The warm market is really cool, but as I talked about now with LinkedIn, the cold market, and you need to do a balanced approach. So the app, creating the list, and doing all that is going to help you build in the warm market. At the same time, use social media and advertising. There's a few things that you can do in the cold market to build your business. But you need to have a clear idea of what to say when someone asks, what type of business are you in? Somebody asks you that question, what kind of business are you in? And when they ask, what is the product? You need to tell the story. Go back to page 20 in your booklet. That's the story. Where does it start? It's always the same. It starts with Professor Ko in 1991 in the University of Hong Kong. People want to hear the story. You don't need to go and tell them about all the effects of what it does. That's going to happen. We know the products work. The story is everything. So the story about the company, the story about the products, and your personal story. Story is the most important thing. When we did the Wine and Wrinkles party in Salmon Arm, we didn't pull up a presentation. We told our stories. We did have technology issues, but we didn't need to have technology because we had stories. Because people didn't care about having to see it on there. We just told our story. I told my story. I told the story of the company. I told the story of why I joined the company. He told his stories. His stories are kind of funny. So were mine. Everybody laughed. At the end, we showed some before and after photos. And out of the 4 guests that I do believe 4 or 5 guests were there, 3 of them joined right on the spot. Got on the computer, started signing them up. 4th one joined on the Monday. So when you do it right and you have fun, it works. We weren't pushing. Tell the story. You want to be involved in our story. It's really simple. The story is so important.